A child is a victim of a hit and run in Ocoee. Oakland commissioner faces a challenge at the polls. And a young man from our community who suffered a great tragedy can use some help. The date is February 24th, 2022. We're going to go through these stories and more. Welcome to West Orange on the Go. My name is Austin Arthur, and this is where we do local news and comment. And when I say local news, I mean hyper-local. West Orange. This is your news. We begin in 10 seconds.
You're listening to West Orange on the Go. Brought to you by the West Orange Times and Observer. Hosted by Austin Arthur. West Orange on the Go.
While Ocoee Police Department officers are still searching for the suspect driver who hit a child on February 7th, the city's leadership wasted no time in making the intersection safer. Just 2 days after discussion regarding the intersection at the February 15th Ocoee City Commission meeting, employees from Ocoee's Public Works Department were building a crosswalk at the intersection. February 7th, the suspect driving a mid-2000s blue Toyota Corolla hit a child who was riding a bicycle on Worst Road. The driver did not stop to render aid to the child or give any information. The incident was captured by a neighbor's Ring camera. Now, thank God that amazingly, the child was uninjured. Now, the video is online for you to view, and it is important that you view it in case maybe you can recognize the car or some other details to help them find this guy. Now, you could go to our Facebook page or our website and click the link. We have the video up, and truly it's horrifying. When you read uninjured, you think, okay, well, so maybe this is not too bad. Maybe this was just a little clipping and not a big deal. No, it's a big deal. This child is hit, flies into the air. The child's entire body does a flip into the air. Just barely missing his head. You know, it's like something out of a movie when you watch this thing. It's terrible. Could have easily snapped the child's neck. And the driver, just keeps going. According to eyewitnesses, they think it was a young male. But please check this video in case you can offer any information. And if you have any information, contact Officer Dwayne Hunt at 407-554-7216. Now, during the COVID-19 pandemic, a decision was made to cancel the 2021 Windermere Fine Art Show. But now it returns with new artists and is celebrating its 6th year, Saturday, February 26th, and Sunday, February 27th, in downtown Windermere. Now, more in this week's paper and online, but it's good to know that this is a free event, and I encourage you to check it out. And in hyper-local political news, Oakland Commission, incumbent and 10-year Oakland Commissioner Rick Poland will face off against a political newcomer, Matt Buenovich, in Oakland's first election in 16 years. Now, in this week's paper, if you're interested, they have character profiles of the two candidates and question and answers. Both of them participated. You can check it all out and see what you think. Maybe I'll go through just the first question here with the newcomer. The question is, why do you want to serve on the Oakland Town Commission? He says, quote, after moving to Oakland, I found the community was growing, but the town was not evolving with it. Some examples are, we can finally pay our water bill online. The town is not on reclaimed water. Few community engagement events to help blend the new developments with the established residents. So I challenged myself to make a difference and to run for town commission, end quote. And the incumbent, Mr. Rick Poland, his response to the question of why he wants to, in this case, continue to serve on the Oakland Town Commission, he says, quote, Serving on the commission is a labor of love for all of us, as the compensation is only $50 a month. We serve because we care about Oakland and the quality of life we all work to protect. I have served on the commission for 9 years, and we have come a long way in the past few years. My passion for serving is solving problems for our residents, ensuring our taxes are not wasted, and that our small town charm is protected. That's why I want to continue serving." End quote. Now, as I mentioned, you could check it all out online or on our Facebook page. Those are two great ways to get the hyper-local news with the West Orange Times and Observer. And of course, you could get the traditional paper to put it in your hands. It's free in the big red boxes all around town. I'd like to give you an update on the bus depot situation. Now, I've talked a lot about this. I've been a bit frustrated with OCPS on the issue, and I've been vocal about it, not just on this podcast for the West Orange Times and Observer, where I give the hyper-local news and comment, and of course, my comments are my own. Well, I've been talking about how absurd it is to place a bus depot, that's 100 buses, as I've been saying, right in the residential area of East Winter Garden, a historically underserved community, a community that the city of Winter Garden is going to be spending millions in to revitalize. Anyway, we had the community meeting. I was present, and I will tell you that we had a great showing. My good friend Jamie and president of the East Winter Garden advocacy group, One Winter Garden, did an incredible job at rallying the community. And I must admit, OCPS was very responsive to our concerns. And I think more importantly, the city of Winter Garden, the staff, the elected officials, we had the district commissioner there, Mark Mashel, and we also had the city manager, John Williams, and our great mayor, John Reese. Well, they were all there in support of our community here in Winter Garden to tell OCPS, we don't want your buses here. The outstanding thing is they're making all these promises, but the first thing we see on their presentation is now it's up to 200 buses, when just 24 hours earlier, they were still saying 100 buses. So, you can't trust the county. It's not that the people within it are dishonest. We assume that the leaders within the county are honest, good people. But the version of them months down the road, well, we just can't trust that. That's why things like a bus depot don't belong in a mixed-use area where we have residential homes right across the street. It's funny, when I was at the meeting, I said, we have these wonderful bald eagles on Plant Street here in Winter Garden. We love our bald eagles. And the reality is, OCPS wouldn't be allowed to put a bus depot next to those eagles because they're protected, and we got all kinds of rules about sound and hyperlocal pollution. And they just wouldn't be able to do it. But you go across here to this historically black community in East Winter Garden, and no problem. They don't even think twice about it. So it's a little bit ridiculous, and I hope that OCPS heard us and makes another plan. Maybe they'll sell it to the city of Winter Garden is a good idea. They could have a great use for it or something else. But let's not have the buses there. So that's the update. I'll keep you informed on how things progress and if they indeed change their current plans. So now as we get into the final page, a story from the great Amy Quessenberry. It was supposed to be a fun weekend at the beach for Christy Williams and her 4 boys. But for 24-year-old Sedante Williams, Saturday, August 14th, was a life-altering day that has put the family in further financial straits and rendered their oldest son a quadriplegic. Sedante was wading in the ocean when a wave hit his knee, causing it to dislocate. He says, quote, "My left knee popped out and I dropped down to both my knees, and My hands were under the water. Another wave hit, and I crashed to the ground. I called out, and no one was there. His youngest brother ran to get his mother, and Sedante continues the story. The next thing I remember is being put in the ambulance, and after that, blank. Nothing else. I woke up in the hospital like a week later. Sedante, a 2015 graduate of Olympia High School, who was skilled at playing cello and piano, had broken his neck in 2 places and was lying paralyzed in a bed at UF Health Shands Hospital. Now, he has a rare medical condition that affects his connective tissues, which made his knees more susceptible to giving out, and this is also why surgeons had difficulty in repairing his neck. Doctors wanted to avoid a whole fusion because it would immobilize his neck and his head, but his syndrome caused the halo to slip. He says, quote, "My head was still slipping off my neck. Imagine your head falling off your neck. That is what was happening to me." Sedante has 4 bars and 8 screws at the top of his neck and is paralyzed from the chest down. He has had to rely on his mother and his brothers for everything. Sedante said of his mother and his brothers, quote, "Honestly, without them, I would probably be dead right now. I don't want to be alive. But they're the only reason I'm here. My mom, she does all the right things like moms do. She knows how to pull me out of my spirals. Sometimes she lets me spiral because I need to. She's there for whatever I need. It's very demanding, but she doesn't let it show. Obviously, I know I'm a burden. They don't see it, but I know that I am." Besides his mom, Sedante said his brother, 19 years old Elijah, has been the biggest help. His mother and her 2 sons have had jobs that kept the household bills paid. The 2 youngest are still in school. After the accident, however, clearly, Sedante was unable to work, and his mother and brother quit their jobs to give him around-the-clock care. The mother, Christy Williams, has been a single mother ever since her husband, Charlie Williams, died in 2008 from complications of Marfan's syndrome, which is similar to the LDS his son has. Medical insurance has been an issue because Sedante Williams was between jobs. He was to start bartending after his family vacation. He says, quote, "It was supposed to be my reset. No worries. Going on vacation before a new chapter starts. Instead, my new chapter is my neck breaking. The mother is trying to look for the positives each day, and she is witnessing compassion and support from family and friends. Quote, miracles happen every day, big and small. They do happen. We are living proof of that. Each day we get up gratefully that Sedante is still here with us and still fighting. We know it could have been so much worse. There is no reason, besides God, that he should have survived this kind of accident. He is here, though, and is still fighting, so we're going to keep on fighting with him. We're thankful for each person willing to walk through this fight with us." She goes on, "God has us, and it's going to be okay. It's just another hurdle, another loop. It's my life." End quote. Please visit our website to learn how you can help this family in need. Family of our community who has already been through so much, losing their father. This wife losing her husband and now dealing with this son who is paralyzed, can't even use his hands. OrangeObserver.com You can find the story there and get the link to help them out. Our Facebook page, West Orange Times and Observer. I know that we will show them that West Orange, we are a compassionate people. If you can't help financially, it is clear that they realize that your prayers are powerful. And I realize that too. So I encourage you to pray for this family. And may God bless them and watch over them. This has been Austin Arthur with the West Orange Times and Observer. And until next week, have a happy and blessed weekend.
West Orange on the Go is brought to you by the West Orange Times and Observer. Hosted by Austin Arthur. West Orange on the Go.